Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. And we have another match from one of the locals, I think this past Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. I was playing up against my man Trey here. He was playing Katakuri. I had Purple Luffy. And I decided to take a little bit of a different route during this matchup, just to try something than what I would usually do in, let's just say, like other matchups. But yellow can be a little annoying, especially Katakuri, with having the life manipulation as well as potentially, you know, cards that can remove or gain life. So I didn't want to give my opponent too many options of those cards in this matchup, and I decided to go for like a little bit of a different route and take a lot of my life using my leader effect, but also just take life that he attacked into. I think I counter out maybe once or twice, but yeah, just wanted to do something a little different on this one, try it out. And I end up swinging 5. He does counter out here, and I will just go miss double finger. I will have to subtract a Dawn to, or excuse me, on play, trash a card, excuse me, to ramp a Dawn. And I end up getting rid of a Magellan here, and I'll just go ahead and pass. Yeah, now with 5 Dawn, it does give me the option of potentially playing a, what is it? A Poly or a 7-cost Useless Captain Kid here. Poly would be really nice to get rid of Cracker and to go into 9-cost Kaido, but I don't believe that I had it at this point in the game. I did counter out of the 1 attack that he went for just because it was a 5k swing. A lot of the 7ks though I do choose to take, and I'll bring leader up to 6k here. I am going to go 6 to life, and he does give me another 2k counter, and I'll just go ahead and pass. I know that removing that 7-cost Useless Captain Kid is going to prove pretty difficult for him. But this will be an 8k swing at life, and he does move that life down to the very bottom there, and I will just go ahead and take that. 8k is a little much for me to try and get rid of, if I'm being completely honest. But we should be back up to 8 Dawn this turn. If we do have the 9-cost Kaido, I would love to just ramp the ramp the Dawn and get that down onto the board. If we don't though, I believe I might just go the route of maybe playing a blocker, preferably like Useless Captain Kid, or potentially the Law as well. I know that he doesn't have the cards in hand to be able, or yeah, cards in hand for Law to get its effect, but I just want to have a blocker on board. And now I will go ahead and subtract the 1, getting him off the even curve as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. It just stops him from being able to play 8-cost Katakuri. And I'll go ahead and take that life though, going down to 2, and leaving myself with 4 Dawn here. So 8k, and now bringing leader up to 6 as well. I know that the only life that he is aware of is the bottom life at the moment. I can just kind of swing willy-nilly here and just kind of hope that he takes some cards. If not, I'm getting some cards out of hand. I can tell that if he's countering pretty aggressively, he's probably trying to get to that 10-cost Big Mom pretty comfortably. 7-cost Linlin here. I'll go ahead and give him 1 life just because I know that I might want to ramp, and I didn't want to go down to 0 at this point exactly. I wanted to get at least a, you know, another blocker or 2 onto the board because of the threat of like Thunderbolt or something. And now we do end up unfortunately picking up the Poly just a little late. I would have liked to have that card a little bit earlier to get rid of Cracker, but I'm not threatened by Cracker. I'm more just like, it would have been nice to have that card on board. But Useless Captain Kid is very useful here. Now when I attack with the 7-cost, I can just get that Dawn back, and I subtract 1 and get to add it back. 8k does unfortunately bring out the Parasparrow. I'll just go another 6 to life. He trashes Amaru there and gives me a Satori for a counter on that, and then I get the block on Sanji. I'm pretty okay with this as a whole, and now with 5 Dawn, I can just get rid of the double finger, put down another blocker, do a little Dawn minus, hoping to find a 9-cost Kaido if possible, and I think that we do here if I'm not mistaken, and then I'll just go ahead and trash the Poly. I was pretty happy though picking up the 9-cost Kaido just because I know that getting rid of Lin Lin can be pretty annoying, but Yamato's also a thing and takes care of my Useless Captain Kid. I was a little bummed out about this simply because I did want to keep that card on the board for 9-cost Kaido. But we will see 8 going down into Magellan. This will stop him from getting to 10 cost a little faster. But now that I think about it, I'm like, if you're going to swing into that, it almost makes me feel like you don't have 10 cost because you would want to be able to play that the following turn. So I'm going to take my time a little bit here. I'm like, do I counter out of this or do I block? I would really like to keep Magellan as an attacker on the board for a little bit. So I will just go ahead and block with the Law right here. Not really caring too much about 10 cost because I'm putting him on having it the following turn if he really does want to try and get through to that. But the 5-cost Useless Captain Kid is going to make a return to the field, and now that that 7-cost is going to just give me another free Dawn going up to 6. Actually, yeah, going up to 6 here. And I'm just kind of thinking of how heavy I want to swing into this Lin Lin. Depending on how much counter he has in hand, I think I decide to be a little greedy, and I'm just going to go 10k. So now I know for sure that one of his cards is at least a non-counter, but getting that Dawn back at least, going back up to 4 as well, gives me an option if I do have the Law blocker to put that down as well. But I'll just go ahead and go 6 to life. He chooses to take this one, no trigger. I'll go another 6 to life, and he takes this as well. So I'm really feeling as though his hand is extremely dead. Like there's no way that he doesn't have a lot of this counter. So I'll go ahead and go 6, and he gives me 2 1k counters. I'm more than happy to get that out of his hand, and now I know that he's not got a single card of counter in hand. And I'll just play Law for 4, and I'll go ahead and pass. Still having 2 active blockers. There is the threat of like a double Thunderbolt here, but I mean, I guess he could have it, and then a Cracker, you know, double attack could be pretty menacing, but it looks as though we have a pretty good amount of counter power in hand as well. I'm just going to see a 6k swing into life, and now I think that I just decided to take these, if I'm not mistaken. I have the counter power, but I'm like, yeah, I don't really need to give any of his cards any more value than what I have already. Oh no, I actually do choose to counter out of this. And now another 6 coming with Perospero. I guess I actually, at the beginning of this game, I thought that I took a lot of life, but apparently it wasn't until the very end of the game. I was mostly just doing the KOing myself. But a 9 into the Useless Captain Kid. I will go ahead and protect it using that 0-cost event though. And now a 7-cost Lin Lin. With him only having 1 card in hand, I am going to trash that life all day, every day. Say goodbye, kid. And now a 7-cost, or excuse me, a 7k swing into life. It looks as though I do have enough counter to rest the Useless Captain Kid and just protect this if possible. But it depends on where he's going. Actually, I don't think he's declared that he's going at life. I am going to go with the X-Drake though and just protect the queen right there. And now he goes ahead and passes it over, but we have such an established board with him only having 2 cards in hand and 2 life. I'm feeling pretty good. The only thing is that he does know his last life, so I am a little weary of that, but I'm just going to swing 6. He's going to go ahead and take that, and he does get a Sanji blocker. Pretty solid, all things considered, but Thunderbolt is going to be trashed, so I guess he just didn't have 2 Thunderbolts, because if he did, that would have been pretty annoying. But I'll go ahead and 9-cost Kaido, KOing the Sanji, and with the Kid effect, I do get that Dawn back. So I am like, oh yeah, we got this in the bag now. I can just go ahead and swing 8 with Eustace Captain Kidd, pump up the leader if I want to. But I'll just go 6 with the blocker, and he goes ahead and takes, and unfortunately, he doesn't have much here. I'll go ahead and do 8. He realizes he's only got 8, so we take the match here. Pretty solid, all things considered. I really like the yellow matchup playing as Purple Luffy. It doesn't feel as bad, but sometimes there are just like a lot of triggers that can happen that it makes it a little bit more of an inconvenient match. But that's where I love that, you know, Paulie comes into this matchup really well, and Queen just being able to find the cards that I need, absolutely solid. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. All right, peace.